try, the more I
Welcome
fall.
to the Liberating Secret with your host,
I
author and
finally
teacher,
see
Sylvia Pearce.
writing on
The Liberating
the
Secret
wall.
is dedicated to revealing the mystery of the gospel, which is Christ in you, the only hope of glory. Let's join Sylvia Pearce for today's lesson.
And this is where I want to introduce you to my friend Kathy, because Kathy and I met her in jail. And I want you to come up. And she's become a dear friend, a precious, precious woman of God. And God is using her in ways that are just amazing. She has a lot of friends, a lot of people that she grew up with. She's always telling me about who she's talking to, and so God's footsteps go through her feet and everywhere, and it's absolutely amazing. And so Kathy, if you would you like to share with us a little bit about, what God's doing in your life?
Well, my entrance into jail wasn't as easy as yours.
Yeah.
They didn't let me out that night. See, 3 years ago, 52, I guess, I'd only lived in same-sex relationships. I was currently in one at that time for 20 years. We had a practice together. She was a psychologist. I have a master's in counseling with a certification in drug and alcohol counseling, and she moved her son in with us, her son from out in California. He was up in Mendocino County growing pot for a living. And he had he caught some pot charges, caught some meth charges. He said to his mom, I'll come down there. Living with you guys is worse than rehab. I'll come live with y'all. I begged her, please, don't do it. But there was a plan in this. I can remember probably for 3 years lying awake at night praying, how am I going to get out of this? What am I going to do? What's going to happen? I was working every day. I worked for the University of Kentucky, helped her in the private practice. Things looked successful. Had a home, golden retriever, had everything I'd ever wanted. I didn't want anything else except some peace in my heart. So 3 years is a long time to pray that prayer. And on October the 20th, 7 days before my 53rd birthday, October the 20th, 2012, I made a decision, and I can remember making the decision, that man, 47-year-old man who weighed 350 pounds, was going to leave my house that day with my help. And he did. And I got a Louisville Slugger. I kept it in Kentucky. Got a Louisville Slugger. Took it. I was going to kill him. If I had to, that's what I was going to do. Because he was leaving. He left my house. I escorted him out. We had rolls and tumbles and everything like that. But he ended up with a scrape on his arm. And in Kentucky, at least back then, if you call the police first on a domestic violence, that other person goes to jail. So here, a 25-year professional in the community, gets locked up in a police car, taken to jail, and that's where the story begins. Mad wasn't the word for it. You got to get me the hell out of here. I know I prayed that, but just kidding, I wasn't even thinking anything about this. And to make a very, very long story, a long 7 months short, while I was in Christian County Jail, I ended up losing my home, my business, my dog. She put my dog to sleep. My car, or my vehicle. So I almost lost just almost everything. And it was only because of my best friend that I was able to save my dog and my cat and some other different things later on down the road, because she found out where I was. So while I was in jail, I was dealing with all this, and then these folks telling me about God and how homosexuality just wasn't right. And I said, the best thing you can do is jump up right back out of my face, leave me alone. I was angry. I will tell you, I was extremely angry. And I've ended up having to apologize to Mrs. Zander, our chaplain there, several times. And if you're watching Miss Zander again, I'm sorry. Because I wasn't so nice. Miss Zander would always come to me at the end of a night. Maybe it was a Thursday night or a Tuesday night, or just a night when we'd been out or something like that, and she would say, "What's Jesus saying to you? Remember, what is Jesus saying to you?" And as time goes on, I said, "Well, I'm wondering myself, what's Jesus saying to me?" She would always give me a verse, and it's Psalms 139. And you can read it if you want to, but I can tell you pretty much what it says. It says, "You search me out. You know my comings and my goings, and you hem me in before and behind." And if I wasn't hemmed in, I don't know who was. I was hemmed in. Now, let me kind of go on a little bit. There was a girl that I was in the cell with. Her name was Tony. I knew Tony had gotten out and come back again, I think. I can't remember the whole story, but I knew that she was different. I knew something about Tony was not the same. So I started talking to Tony, saying, "What's up? You're not the same. What is it? You're not as angry. You're up and down singing about Jesus. What in the hell is going on with you? Tell me." And over of about a week, we talked a lot. And during that time, that's when I also started talking with Tracy. And little did I know, Tracy had never met a real live homosexual before until she met me. So as I talked to Tony and as I talked to Tracy, that wall started coming down. And it was obvious that, you feel the Holy Spirit tug. And I think Brian has talked about that, and several others talked about that string. You just feel it. So on May the 6th, 2013, in a room probably about the size from here to here and as wide as it is long, I accepted Christ in my life. So It's been 2 years. And my friend Tammy, who also may be watching, would also say, it's going to be an adventure. It's going to be an adventure. And, oh, has it? It's been an adventure. I got out of Christian County Jail. I was actually homeless probably for about 5 days. I walked so close to the edge in my mental health that my best friend would tell me, you know, I'm worried about you. I don't think I'm going to get you back the way you were. And she told me not too long ago, she said, I like who you are now much better. I like who you are much better. So my walk has been a walk. It's a one day at a time thing. And it has been an adventure. And the one thing that I'm really glad, there's a lot of different things that I'm glad about. A huge thing I'm glad about is when you first become a Christian, you're just out there. A lot of folks are just out there. They don't know what to do next. I had this lovely group of people that were there for me to show me what to do next. To, if I would call on the phone saying, you know, they knew what to say to me. You know, the days apart with Brian and Tandy, and you meet all these people that love you unconditionally. I've never had that before. So it has been great. It's had ups and downs. It's not always wonderful, but I'm here. I've survived 2 years, and it's because of him. So support your local ministries in your prisons, okay? People do benefit, and people do come out a changed person. And by the way, the charges were dropped. They moved, they liquidated everything and moved to Florida. And I haven't spoken to them since. So that's kind of where I am at this point in my life. I'm working for a digital production company. I'm not in mental health or substance abuse at all right now. But I'm toying with the fact of going back and working with women that are kind of transitioning out of jail or prison back into the community, because it can be a very tough thing to do. And I'm just glad that I had friends like Tracy and Louie and Brian and Tandy and Tammy, and I mean all of the folks in Hoptown and Calvert that I was able to lean on. So that's my story.
The more I try, the more I fall.
You've been watching Liberating Secret with Sylvia Pearce. We want to send a special thank you to all our supporters that make this program possible. If you've been blessed by this program and would like to contact Sylvia, you can write her at P.O. Box 43268, Louisville, Kentucky 40253. That's P.O. Box 43268, Louisville, Kentucky 40253. You can also find more of Sylvia's teachings on our website. The web address is www.theliberating.secret.org. That's www.theliberating.secret.org. And be sure to watch again right here, Monday through Friday, at the same time for The Liberating Secret with author and teacher Sylvia Pearce. So until next time, may God richly bless you.